I always seem to keep making, if I could only have one type items. This is my, if I could only have one knife when I'm out hiking, hunting, camping, just something out in the woods. So this video will be a little bit less on the prepping side and a little bit more on the survival bushcraft side. Either way, if I'm out in the woods and I can only take one knife with me, this is going to be it. The knife we have is the ESEE 6 knife. Originally, I wanted to buy a laser strike, but when I was up at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they were out of stock. So my options were a 4, a 6, or a 5. I ultimately decided on the 6, obviously. The 5 would have been a little bit shorter, but it had a really thick blade on there, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to carry that extra weight. And the 4 would have been closer to this length, and it would have been maybe a little bit on the short side if I wanted to do something like batoning. This knife does have the 3D scales on here. It is very comfortable in my hand. Been very happy with it. The only thing is that the scales do get a little bit slick feeling if you just have your hand on it. The regular Micarta, when I felt it, it is a little bit grippier. So I don't know if that will translate to in the rain or when it's wet being a little bit slicker as well, but it is just something that I noticed. Another thing I did to this blade is up on the logo and the markings, I wound up taking some cold blue solution and I wound up just bluing it up in there for both corrosion resistance as well as to just darken it up a little bit. What I wound up using is this here. It's just the Brownell's Oxpho-Blue. I've used this for all kinds of stuff around my house, gun stuff, and of course this knife here. There was one time I actually used it for 2 entire guns that I completely redid, and it actually turned out really good. This stuff has been very nice and good to work with. For the sheath, I wound up getting the ESEE Molle compatible sheath as well as their little pouch on the front here. I haven't seen much information or videos on this, so I wanted to just go over this for a quick moment. The black piece up here is the original sheath that came with the knife. Just has a little piece you attach that to ultimately hook up to your belt. But this guy here is nice because on the back it's actually Molle compatible if you want to add it to your pack. But it's nice because it has better retention with this snap here, and you can actually loop the knife handle up underneath this piece, and it's rated for being jump safe out of an airplane if you're parachuting. I also wanted to be able to add this pouch here to carry some items that would be useful out in the field. It attaches really simple by just these 4 screws in each corner, then up in there. You just tighten it on down and everything is nice and secure. Inside of the pouch, it comes with this little tin. It's the same exact size as an Altoids tin, it's just marked with the ESEE logo on there. Up inside, when it's empty, I wind up starting off putting 2 sharpening stones. I wound up getting these from Dan's Whetstone company, and it's 2 different stones. I can't tell the difference by looking at them or feeling them, so I wound up marking them on the edge with an S1 and an H2. That stands for soft, use first, and hard, use second. They came with some nice little leather pouches that I wound up cutting up to be able to stick inside of here as a little bit of padding. Those go in on the bottom. Took another little piece of the leather and I just put it in there so it doesn't bounce around. Another piece of leather up on top, and next goes a couple little scrapers. Put 4 in there, figured I'd always have enough then. These are kind of nice. They have the scraper section, little bottle opener, as well as a mini ruler on there. Over next. Then I wind up putting 6 Ferrocerium rods in there. Why? I don't know. Probably because I had them fit I may wind up changing them out to something else that's a little less weighty and a little more useful than having 6 entire rods in there. But they do fit, and when you put the leather piece on top, everything does close up nicely. So I always go out with about 100 feet of parachute cord. If we open this up here, that always goes in the bottom. Just shove it on in. Next goes our tin we just filled up with our Ferrocerium rods, sharpening stones, and that just closes up on top. And then of course we put the knife ultimately up on the top. So I've been very happy with this knife. I've used it very lightly so far, haven't really needed it, but I've been very happy with it. One of the nicest things about the knife is the warranty that's on it. ESEE more or less says if it breaks, we'll replace it. Even if you abuse it, you chuck it at a rock, you break the tip off, people have shot at them, they've taken a second knife and just chopped them into each other, and ESEE goes, cool, we'll send you a brand new knife. So the nice thing about it is, assuming I don't lose it, it should be one of the last knives I have to ever buy. The only thing is that if I do lose it, I'm out of knife. So I have considered getting one. They have a bright green blade and then a bright orange blade and then bright green scales on there. So you couple that with something like this sheath right here. If you look at that, there's just going to be this narrow portion that's actually going to be bright green. Everything else in this is going to wind up being this nice green color. They do have a black and they also have a tan sheath as well. But if you wind up getting the bright green knife, you're not going to see anything but this little section right there. So maybe something I'll change in the future. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Please tell me what you would change or what you would add to the little tin in there to make it more useful. I'm always open for changes and want to know what people do with their knives and ways I can improve this. So thank you very much, and until next time, have a good day.